Well, thank you. I'm excited to have the opportunity to share this story with you. And I'm going to come from the perspective of a particular organization, Rutland Regional Medical Center, and then broaden out from there. Several years with really disciplined focus, we became a high-performing organization. And the numerous validations of the improvement that we had made was remarkable. These are just some of the recent things that you would see if you were to drive into Rutland Regional. On every flag post now is a different sort of validation of the clinical quality, the safety, the work environment, the patient experience, and on and on and on. The organization has truly transformed from an average organization to an excellent organization. And I'm going to share with you a bit about that journey. I was very fortunate to be the internal change agent leading this organizational transformation. I was the Vice President of Planning and Organizational Excellence for Rutland Regional for about 14 years, and I now advise other organizations on a similar journey. When we first started, as I said, we were an average, a very typical organization. We were reacting and did not have well-honed approaches for anything, really. I mean, we thought we did, but we had to learn how to put in place systematic processes for measurement and communication and workflows and leadership development. So how do we do it? So here's a few of the things that were key to our transformation. As I mentioned, Tom, our CEO, accepted the need that he needed to transform in order to lead this transformation. We had an internal change agent, that was me, and I had learned early on that I had to grow and learn so much in order to stay out ahead of the organization. We had 2 external advisors, and we did something that not all organizations do, is we mapped out a multi-year, multi-phase transformation plan. Now that perhaps comes from Tom and my skill set as planners. We sort of said, let's map this out. What's it going to take in year 1, year 2, and so on. The other key thing for us in our organizational transformation was a partnership between nursing leadership and the organizational excellence leadership. And as I mentioned, the CNO and I really formed a strong partnership. And to be honest, we're both pretty competitive. And we were using these 2 frameworks to improve. And we both said, we're going to rush it. Who's going to beat each other to the post office with their award-winning application first? And so we had some healthy competition between us, but mostly a partnership. We also used a series of assessments about every 1 to 2 years. And those assessments got deeper and deeper to really match with where we were as our organization matured. So we used different assessment techniques to match our maturity. But really importantly, how we did this was by learning. Learning as an organization, learning as a group of leaders, learning as clinicians and staff. And we experienced exactly what David Hutton had told us, that it was really after that external validation where you really begin to see all of the other pieces coming into place, really our high performance kind of becoming even more evident as it compares to other typical organizations. And so it was really only after that that we began to receive this external validation as a great place to work and as one of 100 best hospitals for various different procedures, high hospital safety scores, and on and on and on. And so these were the things, the types of things that accrued sort of after we had finally transformed the organization. I want to just talk about some of my personal lessons learned in being a part of this transformation at Rutland Regional, and then how I now utilize the learnings that I had to help other organizations to accelerate their journeys and their transformations. So here's a few of my most significant learnings. The first one seems so obvious to me right now, and for all of you, it probably is so obvious as well. But I had to learn about 20 years ago, the hard way, that processes produce results. And if we want improved results, we have to improve our processes. We can have the best people in the world, but if we give them lousy processes to work in, even the best people in the world cannot produce great results. And so this, for me, was one of my pivotal learnings, that processes produce results. It seems so obvious now. My second learning is around alignment. And the alignment is really the fuel for acceleration, the fuel to accelerate organizational excellence. It's about aligning your processes and your people, your plans and your resources, and aligning all of that around the results that are most important to the organization. I certainly learned and advise a lot of organizations on the importance of persistence in an organizational transformation. There are so many obstacles that present themselves in the face of resistance or crises, barriers. And it's important to have that sense that persistence, despite those obstacles, is of paramount importance. And while you're maintaining that persistence, being thoughtful in managing the resistance along the way. In a couple of my recent blog posts, I talked about that, being an exemplar, being a change agent who helps others through change and transition. I also learned from my own personal experience in guiding Rutland Regional Medical Center that there's some key points along the way where you can sprint, that it doesn't need to be a slug. It is a journey, but there are some key points along the way. 2 years ago, Tom, who I mentioned, our CEO, was retiring, and I had already moved on from Rutland Regional myself, and I had a chance to sit down with Tom, and we talked about and recalled this journey together about setting a vision and then working with determination to achieve that vision. And one of the free resources that I provide, I have a leadership series called Transformative Leaders, and I interviewed Tom as part of that. I'd like to end with one of my favorite quotes that you see here on the screen. When I was leaving Rutland Regional, I gave Tom that quote for him to keep on his desk, and I keep one on my desk as well, to remind me that excellence is never an accident. It's always the result of high intention, sincere effort, intelligent direction, and skillful execution, and that it represents the wise choice among many alternatives. So I'd love to just open it up for a dialogue, answer questions, tell you a little bit more about the story. But I'd love to hear from you, like what in this inspires you? What is there a particular piece of inspiration or a key takeaway or questions that you have?